I'm Amy Rose White. Welcome to my channel. I'm an integrative psychotherapist making videos on personal and spiritual growth. Today I want to talk about how to handle criticism. It's something that we absolutely cannot avoid, unfortunately, whether it's our kids telling us that what we're wearing looks stupid, or our boss giving us feedback, or someone that we care about telling us they're unhappy with something that we've done. We are going to face criticism in one form or another, basically from day one to the end. And it's not an easy thing to cope with, especially depending on who it's coming from. So my first tip for you is to focus less on the content and the person in the beginning and more on you and your physical body. When we perceive being criticized, and maybe someone is actually attempting to give us just constructive feedback in order to help our performance or help us meet a goal or to actually try to support us in some way in their mind, but we perceive it as criticism, our body immediately feels attacked. Criticism is sort of the equivalent to someone pointing their finger in your face, or worse, even aiming a weapon at us. And our brain is very focused, far less on logic and more on survival. So it's hyper examining our environment at all times, whether it's in written form or someone in front of us or someone on the phone, for any signs of danger or potentially threatening behavior. So the very first thing we need to do is slow down our breathing and notice the sensations in our body when we think someone is criticizing us. Usually our heart rate is elevated. Usually there's a pit in our stomach, or just a feeling of being sick, or maybe an energy and a buzzing up in our head, or our fists and jaw get clenched. It could be so many different, perfectly normal and very common autonomic nervous system responses. And it's really important that we focus on those first, because as long as our body is perceiving danger, we're not able to think clearly or rationally or logically through what is this feedback we just got, what should we do with it, and how do we respond? So what I do when I receive some form of criticism, or I perceive criticism, which could also come from, say, not being selected for a part in a play, or getting the job, or being selected to speak at an event, whatever that perceived feedback is that's bringing up dis-ease in your body and a sense of discomfort, what I like to do is actually bring my body low to the ground as possible. I'll actually sit on the ground, put my one hand on the heart and one hand on my stomach, because that's usually where I feel the most distress around this issue in my body, and just breathe and notice that something is here. So my favorite phrase given to me by one of my teachers is, "What is here, I allow." So the first awareness is just noticing that something physically is happening in our bodies when we think someone's criticizing us, and literally saying to our bodies, whatever is here, oh, okay, I'm listening, I'm paying attention, and whatever is here right now, I'm going to allow it. I'm not going to ignore it, step over it, repress it, shove it down, try to talk myself out of it, distract myself by scrolling or shopping or doing something else. I'm actually going to be right here with it and allowing. Just like we would a screaming toddler. We wouldn't just hopefully leave the building. We're going to sit down with them and be there for the storm until it passes. Then we can maybe understand what caused the upset in the first place. But until we're just there with the physical sensations that are present, we're not getting anywhere. So second is to evaluate the sender and the content. Who is this that's giving us feedback? Is this someone that we know? Do they know us? Is this someone that we like, that we admire, that we respect? Is it someone who means something to us? Is it someone who knows the context of who we are, the greater personhood of who we are? Or is this someone who just knows a small snapshot of who we are in the world? Those of us who make online content are obviously not very well known by our audience. So we have to really think critically and carefully when we take feedback from people who don't know us. And that happens in all sorts of spheres. But most of us have some kind of social media presence, and it can be really easy to overemphasize the importance of feedback from someone who really does not know you as a human being outside a kind of one-dimensional version of you that they might see maybe at a presentation that you gave or on your Facebook page or something like that. The content is very, very important. Is this feedback given in a way that's respectful? Is it kind? Is it based on something that I've done behaviorally that is displeasing? Or is it an attack on my character? Is this someone who's like coming after me as a person? Because when someone knows you and is respectful and is talking about your behavior, that's a very, very different scenario in terms of how much value should I give this feedback, or how seriously should I take this criticism, versus someone who is just like calling you names, doesn't know you at all, is attacking your character or credentials, basically making ad hominem attacks, which is not about the actual argument at hand, but more about the person. So my rule is I only seriously consider feedback from someone I would ask advice from. Now, that doesn't necessarily have to be someone that I know well. It could be someone who I know from their public influence, or a teacher, or, the public sphere in general, or even on YouTube if I happen to respect them. So if yes, I would take advice from this person. I would ask advice from this person. Maybe this is my sister. Maybe this is a parent that I have a good relationship with. Maybe this is a mentor that I respect a lot. Then yeah. So I'm going to do two things. If it's yes, I'm going to say this person can have feedback that means that I could make an adjustment perhaps in my behavior or choices. And I am a good person inherently. So what we call this is an integrated view of the self. I get to have this feedback that might help me make some different choices while I hold the sense that I'm a good person. The fact that I might need to make some changes doesn't mean anything about who I actually am fundamentally as a human being. Everyone else is return to sender or delete. Sometimes I'll actually see the button. I know this is a pretty popular thing to do. Delete, omit, return to sender, back to its source of emanation, whatever language you want to use. I just return that energy, especially if it's vitriolic, hateful, abusive, mean-spirited, or just really unkind. That is always an immediate bloop, return to sender for me. And then I focus back on my nervous system and what I need to do. And if there's anything else remaining in terms of agitation or upset or fear or just like being pissed off and angry, then you want to take that energy and put it somewhere positive. Going for a run, lifting some heavy weights, punching a punching bag or a pillow or a bed. If there's other people that you live with in your home, let them know what you're going to be doing when you go do that. Moving your body, dancing, putting on loud music, using art like clay, watercolor, paint. I have clients that are artists that do huge pieces where they're throwing paint around, and they might have the space and the luxury of being able to do that. But whatever you need to do, it might even be breaking something or tearing up a magazine. I always encourage people to go to Goodwill or other places like that and have, especially if you're a parent of a young child, have things on hand that are okay to rip up that you can recycle or burn or do whatever with when you're done. Just the point is, move the energy. Journal, write it out if you're a writer and that helps you. Say all the things you wish you could say to someone that was rude, and then crumble it up, burn it, flush it if you can safely without doing anything to your pipes. Move that energy and then focus your sense of direction for the rest of the day and where you put your energy on something that actually matters to you, that's aligned with your value system. So I'm going to go have dinner with my family. I'm going to go write a blog post for my business. I'm going to go make some, art. I'm going to go do something that is meaningful to me. Because here's the thing. We are all students here at Earth School, And we're not here to get it right, we're just here to learn and grow. So, criticism can be a wonderful thing if it helps us in that way. And if we can hold an integrated view of ourselves, regulate our nervous system, move the energy, then we can actually make changes that allow us to feel better about our lives and basically enjoy the time that we have here. I hope that this has been useful for you. Thank you so much for liking. Thank you for subscribing. I love reading your comments. I read and try to respond to every single one. They're really meaningful for me, especially when it's constructive, helpful feedback and criticism. I do take that seriously and into account. And if it's kind and respectful, I always keep it on my channel. If it's vitriolic or hateful, it gets immediately removed. So thank you so much for all of your support for this channel. I deeply appreciate it. And until next time, may you be well, may you be happy, may you be safe. Bye for now.